help them realize that there are community members that care for them and care for their success.
Usually you would see mostly adults doing this, but for Splash of LA, it was mostly all students doing it, including the resources, the music, and the games.
School is starting up again, and so, we got to get our kids inspired, riled up, and ready to participate in the academic world coming up.
Can you imagine creating art with things you found in the LA River? That's what the kids who participated in the LA River Public Art Project did. LA City Rec and Park staff and supervisor Hilda Solis highlighted the benefits of children learning about the river and creating something beautiful with the materials they found. Check it out.
We're out here today to bring a group of children to have the opportunity to experience the LA River, see its current condition, dream about its future.
Well, it's an exciting day. We're actually having a culmination of a program that's been ongoing here at the parks, LA City Parks, and it's to celebrate LA River Public Arts projects. They learn about the river, they learn about what they found in the river, and they learn the importance of what elements of natural beauty are here. And they're understanding that through art, through poetry, building things on natural things that they found in the river, and it's quite amazing what they're doing. And I think this is a good program that should be offered throughout all of our parks.
This is the first summer of El Rio de Aventura summer camp, our first public art camp, and the student campers delighted us with their energy and enthusiasm to make art and learn from the river, her habitats, history, and First Peoples.
To create something out of pieces of what we would consider garbage, things that were pulled out from along this beautiful LA River, which we call Paimepajait, and repurpose it and just create something beautiful. And it just gives you a little bit of hope for the future.
So I see the structure as a footprint of a much greater and much more interesting process. It was a way to facilitate conversations around what I call eco-social relations, the way in which nature relates to itself, the ways in which humans relate to nature, and the way that animals relate within nature as well.
The 51 miles of the river connects communities that might not have that physical proximity, and in a city that is starved for spaces and public areas, the river is a source of all of that.
This week, in our ongoing series celebrating the 60th anniversary of the LA Cultural Heritage Commission, we visit the once abandoned Gilmore gas station, which is currently a unique drive-through Starbucks. As a matter of fact, at the canopies where gas pumps used to hang, drivers can now get a different kind of fuel, caffeine. Let's hear this story.
What you have is an old gas station that was abandoned for several years before Starbucks decided that they could use this as a facility for their product. It's a unique building because it's a small gas station. And you can see it's a very simple structure. Someone felt that it really needed to have some pizzazz to it, so they designed it in what was currently a very voguish style in 1935 in the streamlined modern style. And because of that, it's a good example of that style for a small building, a gas station. And that's part of the reason why we appreciate it. The preservation community made an application for a monument, and the city council declared it a monument in 1992. And that helped sort of solidify the protection of it. So now it can't be torn down. So it's a very important aspect of revitalization of what was an existing dilapidated building. And that's what the Cultural Heritage Commission likes to see. When I first heard that Starbucks was going to purchase the site and redevelop the building into a Starbucks cafe, I was a little curious about how they were going to do it. Being an architect, I know the ins and outs of how these things get developed. I thought this was a very tough problem. It's a very small building. I've been to many Starbucks cafes before, and they're much larger than this. The canopies that come out were really canopies where the gas pumps were. And right now, the way that the planners and architects develop the site, they're driving through those canopies. But instead of getting gas, well, I guess they're getting a certain kind of gas. It's called caffeine. It's their new gas that they're providing the people that are driving these cars. And I think it's very successful in the terms of providing a facility for the community, and very successful in the fact that they brought new life to an old building.
Enjoy live jazz concerts at the Leimert Park Jazz Festival. Join musicians of all levels at the community band in the park, or take your first steps in tango at the Pico Union Library. All this up next on Things to Do.
Jazz lovers, this one's for you. The Leimert Park Jazz Festival is where you can enjoy some of the best jazz bands and artists playing live at the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall. Come join fellow jazz enthusiasts at this free festival, which will feature live tributes to jazz legends, an African drum circle, and performances by musicians like Patrice Rushen, Pete Escovedo and family, and many more. Be sure to check out the Kids Zone, Marketplace, and the Food Zone at this community-focused event. The Leimert Park Jazz Festival will take place at the upper-level parking deck of the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall on Saturday, August 27th. Doors open at 11:30 a.m. For more details, check out LeimertParkJazzFestival.com. If you've always wanted to know what it feels like to be part of a band, now you have a chance at the Community Band in the Park event taking place at Herman Park. You'll join other musicians of all ages, backgrounds, and levels in this unique music-friendly environment. Participants become a part of a series of creative sessions and concerts while learning an eclectic mix of music. You can bring your own instrument or use one of the provided percussion instruments. Participation is free and registration is required for the Community Band in the Park event taking place at Herman Park on 5568 Via Marisol on Saturday, August 27th at 10 a.m. For more information, visit culturela.org/events. Attention dance lovers and especially tango enthusiasts. The Pico Union Branch Library is holding a free beginning tango class. With the help of 20-year veteran Argentine tango instructor Ilona Glenarski, participants will have the chance to learn the basic steps and hand gestures of Argentine tango. This free lesson requires no previous dancing experience. The event is open to teens and adults. The beginning tango class with Ilona Glenarski will take place inside the community room of the Pico Union Branch Library on Saturday, August 27th at 1 p.m. For more details, visit lapl.org/events. And that's a look at some things to do.
And that's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org, and we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.
Hi, my name is Amanda Charles. I'm the librarian 3 at Teenscape. Teenscape is the library within Central Library that serves teens and young adults aged 12 to 19. When we opened in 1998, we were the first public library dedicated space for teens. We have over 4,000 square feet of space with a collection of over 30,000 items. We act as ambassadors to the rest of the collection for young adults. There may be some teens who are reluctant to approach a librarian in the art department. They are unaware that they can make an appointment and view materials in special collections, and so we'll often be the ones to reach out and help make that connection and introduce them to that collection. The item I brought today is it's a book. It's not rare. It's not unusual. It's called Korematsu v. the United States, World War II Japanese-American Internment Camps. It's part of a series on important Supreme Court decisions. I chose it because the Supreme Court is in the news a lot right now, and there's a lot of talk about how important it is to choose the right justice. Korematsu v. the United States is an example of what can happen when the Supreme Court goes wrong and how it can have tragic effects on the lives of American citizens. So if a teen came to me and they wanted to know why the Supreme Court mattered, I might choose a book from this series and offer that to them. But the thing I really wanted to point out about this book is that it has this yellow and red YA sticker on the spine. You will find books with the YA sticker on the spine sprinkled throughout the collections everywhere in Los Angeles Public Library system. However, at Teenscape, every single one of our books, all 10,000 of our nonfiction books, all 10,000 of our fiction books, our graphic novels, our manga, everything has this young adult sticker because everything in our collection is dedicated to young adults. We're where students come and learn to be researchers, and I'm really proud of that. Thanks.
Good morning and welcome to the Los Angeles City Council. Today is August 19th. I'm Nori Martinez, the President of the City Council. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, Madam President. Blumenfield.
Blumenfield present.
Bonin.
Bonin present.
Buscaino. Cedillo. Absent. De Leon. Herstausen. Koretz. Absent. Krikorian.
Here.
Lee. Martinez.
Present.
O'Farrell. Price.
Here.
Rahman. Absent. Rodriguez. Absent. 10 members in a quorum, Madam President.
First order of business.
Approval of the minutes of August 17, 2022.
Mr. Krikorian moves and Mr. Buscaino seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. De Leon moves and Mr. Bonin seconds. Let's run through the agenda.
Madam President, items 1 through 16 are items for which public hearings have been held. Items 17 through 30 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Without objection, those items are now before us. Members, you wish to call any of these items special? Mr. Bonin?
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to recuse on item 17.
Okay. There's been a request to recuse himself. Mr. Bonin has requested to recuse himself from item 17. Mr. O'Farrell?
Yes, Madam President. Item 8 for remarks, please.
8. Item number 8 for Mr. O'Farrell for remarks. Any other specials, members? Seeing no other specials, Mr. Clerk, which are the available items for us to vote on?
Madam President, there are cards on items 17 through 30. The council may now vote on items 1 through 6 and 1 through 7 and 9 through 16.
Let's go ahead and vote on items 1 through 7 and items 9 through 16. Let's open the roll. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Okay, let's move on to public comment. If I call your name, please come on up. Arnold Sachs? Mr. Sachs, you signed up for all items that are available for public comment, which are items 17 through 30. So give him his 3 minutes of public comment for his items and your 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning. Arnold Sachs. Item 24 refers to a date, Earth Hour. Earth Hour? What happened to Earth Day? The event occurred on March 22nd. You're spending $400 for an hour. It probably cost $1,000 in manpower to set up for that celebration. Just wondering why it took so long. Why don't you do something about budgeting before the event? There was an event on 4/2/21, celebrating UCLA's appearance in the NCAA Final Four for $120. Again, this is August of 2022. 28 refers to International Overdose Awareness Day. Are you doing anything to stop the flow of fentanyl in the city and needles that are being used by all the drug-addicted people? It's a cesspool in some of these places. There's a lot of drug addicts. Have you done anything about the marijuana sales tax that you had a marijuana sales tax bill that passed about 5 years ago? What happened to the excise tax that the state was supposed to collect? Why isn't any of that money going towards the use of providing facilities to help people overcome their addiction? I'm sure there might have been a couple of people working in the city council or even some elected officials who might have had to deal with some kind of drugs in their life. Item number 30 refers to the Commission on the Status of Women. What exactly is the status of women right now? Have they done anything to do something about taxing female products? Why is there only 7 females on the council? Why is it so gender biased? Why aren't any males included? What about transgender people? Why aren't they included? What about equality instead of equity? Why is it more about equity instead of equality? And what about the Civil Rights Commission? Have you read some of the articles? Have you seen some of the documents that have been passed out by Metro and some of these bus companies? They're violating Title VI of the federal rules by excluding religion and elderly rights. Have you read any of this stuff? Do you look at any of this, Mr. City Attorney? Oh, my public comment. So, are we doing anything to help the veterans in LA? Are we going green or not? Have you decided on any kind of program, or you're just going to keep building? Have we decided on a styrofoam ban? Are you going to ban those gas blowers that a lot of people use to blow around the garbage? Have we done anything about the $500 trillion that we got in federal dollars from all the programs when the government was shut down in 2017? Have we looked into the cause of that shutdown? Have we looked into the federal lands for Pachanga being bought and turned into Yamava? Have we looked into the status of the LA Arena Land Company? Have anybody checked the buildings across the street from the Staples Center? It's almost 7 years since they started.
Thanks, Mr. Sachs.
Next speaker is Candido. Are you here? Mr. Candido, you signed up for all items, which are 17 through 30. And then you also have your 1 minute of public comment. Go ahead with your items.
Thank you, Madam President. Good morning, council members. I just want Mr. Bobble to make sure we're clear on this issue. 17 through 22 is about parking. Is that correct, Mr. Bobble? Yes or no? Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr.
You know, the issue of parking has become a big problem in all of our districts. I want to give you an example. It's kind of like the broken window syndrome. You guys are old enough to remember that. But here we have this street, Reseda. You go up it, it's in a beautiful neighborhood. People have been coming up there to take a look at the valley, and now what's happened? Everybody parks there, and there's a sign from 6 to 6 in the morning, no parking. But up until 4 in the morning, that area is packed. There are people trying to cross the street. People are almost killed by trying to cross that. But now, everything is being dumped there. People come up there, they clean out their cars. They're having sex on the thing, they're doing the drugs, but the thing that made me mad and pissed me off the most is when one couple decided to leave their Kentucky Fried Chicken bucket there. Now, how disrespectful is that, right? I mean, come on. I mean, let's be more, if you're going to go into a community, be respectful of that community. That's why, as I'm going to slam this thing, I hope I get some attention here because, you know, I know you guys are listening, but it gets a little boring when you come down here and all you see is people, and I understand you're doing your job, you're reading. And I want to thank my councilman, Mr. Lee, for cleaning up. I went by there this morning and it was cleaned up. Thank you, sir. But again, this is an issue in all of our districts because you guys changed the rules on the parking. So let's move on to public comment, Mr. Falbo. Is that okay?
Yeah, move into your public comment. Give him his 1 minute.
Okay, I get public comment? Okay, let's take a look at what happened yesterday. Another takeover, whether it's north, east, south, it's all part of our community. And what did they do? They extended that takeover into the 7-Eleven. And how do they get punished? They take their car away for 30 days. Why in the hell aren't we taking those cars and then reselling them? I'm working on an estimate on what it costs if we resurface or we have to completely dig up the whole intersection, what it costs to redo those streets after they destroyed that. Do you know the mental anguish it leaves on kids and people who are afraid to go out in the street because all these cars have just been, they're tearing up the streets? We're looking at maybe as high as $34 million. But who's going to enforce that? I can't enforce it. Are you going to enforce it? Are the people going to get their money back for the destruction that has taken place by who? Dodge. Dodge is the one that goes around telling everybody you got to go 100 miles down the road. How many car accidents have we had? People going, their homes being destroyed because of cars. Shame on you, Dodge.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Jason Reedy. You're speaking on items 28 and 29, and your general public comment.
What? Say those numbers again. 23.
I'm sorry, 23 and 28.
28. There we go. Okay. All right. So item 23. Now this item is ridiculous. Can we all agree on that? Nuri, you want this celebrity photographer who has taken portraits of Shaq, Michael Richards, and Jessica Alba to now take some photos of you at some CD6 events. Nuri, in this agreement, it states that this contracted work can be performed more economically or feasibly by independent contractors than by city employees. But that's not true, is it? Your staff is 18 members deep and their salaries total over $1 million. Why is it necessary to contract someone when you have 3 different people on your staff dedicated to communications? In addition, you state that the photographer in question has deep subject matter expertise that will assist your strategic communications plan. Are you saying that Alexis Weston's expertise isn't enough? Are you saying that this man, John McCoy, knows more about communications than your all-women communications team? These contracted activities include attending various 6th Council District events to photograph and take video in order to generate a record and provide context and direction relative to district-wide issues. But are you insinuating that your communications director, Sophia Gilchrist, doesn't have a handle on this? Waste of fucking money. Now, moving on to item 28. Paul Koretz, who isn't here, he put up this motion for a special recognition of International Overdose Awareness Day. But that excludes disadvantaged black hustlers, according to Paul Koretz. That excludes Timothy Dean and Jamel Moore. The victims of his buddy, Ed Buck, who he claimed was against animal cruelty, and someone that he said supported kittens and puppies, which sounds just like Paul Koretz. My bad. Ed Buck murdered 2 people, and that's 2 more than the so-called insurrection at City Hall last week, and Koretz had more criticism of that than Ed Buck. Now, this council illuminating City Hall is performative. Gilbert, Caruso's new assistant, who isn't here as well, said while he was campaigning that Eunice's belief in safe consumption sites was extreme. So let's put pressure into creating safe consumption sites here in the city. In the meantime, let's dedicate some resources to dealing with addiction and overdose. Guess where we can take that from? The LAPD. Let's build on the work of Dr. Mutulu Shakur and make acupuncture clinics readily available to those suffering from addiction here in Los Angeles. And in closing, Paul Koretz doesn't give a fuck about overdoses. And now moving on to my public comment. Yes. Joe Buscaino, you threatened to call DCFS on me for interrupting your adjourning motion of an LAPD pig, right? Someone that meant so much to you, but why weren't you at his celebration of life? Now, Joe, I'll call DCFS on you and get Brandmere taken away from you. But in all seriousness, you want to talk about my family? My family pushed out Italian fascists like you in Ethiopia during World War II. My family fought and defeated Italian colonialists like yourself shout?
in Ethiopia in 1896, all right? You want to talk about separating my child? That shit ain't fun.
Hey, please, don't shout. Sir. Stop shouting. Stop shouting. Quiet. Shh.
You're the motherfucker that has dedicated resources to separating black kids from their parents. And you ain't got shit to say
Mr. Reedy. Mr. Reedy, please stop shouting. Okay, your time's expired. Thank you.
The next speaker is Chad Kroger.
Mr. Reedy, you're disrupting the meeting. Stop right now.
Chad
All right,
Kroger, sir, you're disrupting the meeting. I'm going to ask you to leave. Sergeants,
Mr. Reedy,
please
you've
ask
been
them to leave.
ejected. You've been asked to leave the meeting. Yes, you
Yes,
got a
you were
warning. You were
multiple
shouting
times.
so
You just
loudly.
keep shouting over
Mr.
us.
Reedy, you've been ordered to quietly leave the meeting. Please do so.
Please leave this council.
Mr. Reedy,
Sergeants,
you've been ordered to quietly leave. So, Mr. Reedy. So, for the record, Mr. Reedy is shouting and disrupting our meeting as he leaves. We're not able to continue while he's doing this. I suspect the mics are picking it up, but it's hard to know. So for the public, sorry, Mr. Reedy is shouting all the way out. And he's still going. All right, sorry about that.
the next speaker is Chad Kroger. You sign up for general public comment.
Yeah, what up, council? My name is Chad Kroger. So, for the past 5 years, we have come in here and asked you to take action on many of our causes. And while they've all been respectfully denied, we super appreciate that you've allowed us into these hollow halls and have heard us out. Also, big ups to Public Use for allowing us to use your videos and share our Stoke activism with the world for zero production costs. You guys work so hard and you hear so much legal jargons that we think you should reward yourself with a holiday. And we actually have just the holiday in mind. On August 23rd, JT and I have a show coming out on Netflix called Chad and JT Go Deep. We think that you guys should make that no city council day nationwide so that you and all other public servants can sit back, relax, and watch the series. Also, please don't respectfully decline this one because we need you, hardworking civil servants, to stay at home, blow off work, and watch the full series so you can help boost the algo. And we don't get lost in the infamous Netflix shuffle. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Kelly Clift. Kelly? Kelly, you signed up for general public comment.
Good morning, City Council. I have something special for you, Mrs. Martinez, 6th District, and President Pro Tem Mike Mitchell. I have individual information that I would like to give the both of you.
Can you hand them over to the sergeant?
Can your representatives receive this? And then I would like to speak on court case 22-STCV 23806. I was bitten by a dog on Metro, and it's a pit bull service dog. It's for pit bull service dog. That's for Miss Martinez and Mitchell Farrell. A pit bull service dog. A pit bull is not a service dog. And then the bus driver appeared to be accommodating, but he wasn't. I kept saying, I was bit, I was bit. I remained seated in the handicap. I was bit, I was bit. And he eventually picked up the phone and called Metro. He delayed in calling Metro. I just want to let you know I was bit by a pit bull dog, and the pit bulls are not service dogs. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Next speaker is Rob Quam. You're speaking at item 23 and general public comment. Go ahead.
You don't know how to pronounce my last name? It's been a while.
What did you say?
I said, you don't know how to pronounce my last name?
Well, maybe it's because I speak with an accent. Maybe if that offends you, I'm sorry. Rob Quam, is that better?
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Item 23 is a motion to allocate $70,000 towards a professional photographer for CD6. I know you all rubber stamp this, but does it sit well with you? Who else has a comms director, a comms deputy, and a digital comms deputy? DG Sophie can work the turntables but can't manage some decent pics with an iPhone. Paul's getting all the blame for the treatment of animals in our shelters, but you're the council president and the problem's been going on for years. The East Valley shelters in your district, $70,000 could pay for more than a full-time dog walker. I digress. We've got priorities here. As our council president said before, if it's not on the gram, it didn't happen. Happy belated 818 Day. I think it's quite ironic that our Queen of the Valley has gone out of her way to disenfranchise Valley constituents. You all went along with Nuri ending remote public comment, forcing Valley residents to come to City Hall. We used to meet every other month in the Valley. It's been over 2.5 years since we met at Van Nuys City Hall. Even if they do show up, they might not have a chance to speak since you refuse to offer more than 30 to 40 minutes of public comment. Y'all want to talk about insurrectionists? Why is Nuri Martinez dragging her feet with that report on potential LAPD, LAFD participation in the actual insurrection that happened, 2 years ago? This kind of failed leadership is why things went down the way they did last week. Protesters shutting down city council is nothing new, but our former council president understood that you couldn't respond with vindictiveness and animosity. You invite a shutdown by shutting down comment, by having Joe Buscaino threaten people's family, by telling people they don't look homeless enough for you, Nuri. They might never admit it, but I know some of the people who had your back last week actually secretly loathe your leadership. We're just shy of a silent majority on this council praying for your presidency come to an end. I ultimately love-hate this dynamic. We make no progress in the short term, but in the long term, Nuri, you make all of your colleagues so much more vulnerable. Mitch O'Farrell, I see him filming over there. He was saying that he's never turned anything down to deal with corruption. You've been on rules for a year, man. What have you done?
Thank you, Rob Kwan. Next speaker is JT Parr. Are you here? JT? You signed up for general public comment. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes.
Thank you.
What up, council? I would like to echo Chad's sentience by singing a song that we sang at my 8th grade graduation. It's called Graduation. As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. As our lives change, come whatever, we will still be friends forever. So if we got the big jobs and we make the big money, will we look back now? Will that joke still be funny? Will we still remember everything we learned in school? Still be trying to break every single rule? Will little brainy Bobby be the stockbroker man? Can Heather find a job that won't interfere with her tan? I keep thinking that it's not goodbye. Keep on thinking that it's time to fly.
Thank you.
And this is how it feels.
Thank you, Speaker. The next speaker is Romel. Mr. Buscaino?
Thank you. Members, thank God for Chad and JT. We have struggled here in these chambers these last several months, and they have brought so much joy and laughter to the city, and we owe it to them. So I will be proclaiming August 23rd as Chad and JT Go Deep Day in LA. I'll be submitting a motion today and thank them for their contribution to this great city.
Sir, thank you. Stop interrupting this meeting. We have a speaker in front of us. Are you Romel?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, you signed up for general public comments, so you can go ahead and start in your minute.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
I just want to leave this with a light note. It's an honor to be here. I'm glad everybody's actually listening this time. It's my second time here, and thanks for your work, and thanks for hearing them out further, because there's quite a discussion nowadays. And I just want to hope and pray that my generation contributes more to City Hall specifically, because it seems today there's not much of an audience, but hopefully I can get some more of my generation, the upcoming generation, be involved and get more educated. And thanks for having me.
You are the last speaker, so I will go ahead and close public comment. Members, let's go ahead and vote on items 18 through 30. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
There's been a request by Mr. Bonin to recuse himself on item 17. Let's make sure he's off the board. Okay, let's go ahead and vote on the item 17. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Let's move on to item number 8. There's been a request by Mr. O'Farrell to speak on item number 8. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President. We're approving essentially a report for information purposes. It's important, though, that we're on record for just underscoring how important and how devastating this drought is. This unprecedented and extreme drought conditions across the southwestern U.S. requires us to act promptly and decisively at the local level. These last 3 years alone, from 2019 to 2022, have been the driest on record. And this year, we had the 3 driest months on record between January and March ever recorded. Most of our reservoirs are below 1/3 of their capacity, and there's just really nothing on the horizon that believes that those conditions will improve. Because of these conditions, Governor Newsom first imposed statewide water restrictions in March, and in May, the mayor recommended that the city move to phase 3 for the city of LA in relation to water conservation and an ordinance, and with this council's concurrence, we've done just that, and we have, Angelinos have participated with a reduction of at least 9% since that time. Climate change and human-driven activity is the major driver of this mega drought, which is regional and impacts all of us, and not just people, but the wildlife that live and in California rivers, streams, and wetlands. The Department of Water and Power provided an update on drought conditions, water use, conservation, and customer incentives, including any impacts that the drought is having or will have on our LA 100 goals to transition into complete renewable energy decarbonization with our energy, climate change, energy, environmental justice, and LA River Committee and the work we've done there. We have the department present to answer any questions that any members may have, but I look forward to approving this and just elevating the dire and dangerous situation we're in as it relates to water in this day and age. Thank you, Madam President.
You see no other members on the queue on this item. Let's go ahead and open the roll. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Mr. Clerk, what's next?
Madam President, council has motions for posting and referral.
Those are posted and referred. Moving on to announcements. Mr. De Leon, you have an announcement?
Yes, I do, Madam President, as well, colleagues. I'm really pleased. I'm happy. I'm actually overjoyed to announce that our very own LA's finest, Mary Hodge, along with her husband, our good friend, Congressman Jimmy Gomez, just had their baby this morning. And welcome, little baby boy G, to Los Angeles. It is a very joyous occasion. If you look at the screen, that's a big boy.
That is a big boy. That's
8 pounds and 6 ounces. That's a big boy right there. And 20 inches. And he is doing well, healthy. I spoke with both Mary and Jimmy this morning. They're doing quite well. Mary is a hard worker. I think she's already texting right now some things that have to still be done within the city of LA right now, the kind of person she is. But I just wanted to just welcome, little baby G into the world, into LA. Got a new constituent too, Madam President, in City 14. So I just want to announce to the world. Thank you very much, Madam President.
Congratulations, Mary Hodge, if you're watching us, and Jimmy Gomez. Congratulations. Mr. Harris Dawson, do you have an announcement?
Thank you so much, colleagues. This summer has been a great summer for us with our movies in the park. Over the last 6 weeks, we've shown about 20 movies in the park. About 1,500 families have participated. Tonight is the finale, inspired by Council District 7 and Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez. We're going to have 2 summer pool parties where there's going to be a movie and the pool's going to be open and people are supposed to swim during the movie. It'll be very exciting. We'll be at Algin Sutton Park and Van Ness Park, 2 pools that have been completed in the last 3 years. We want to encourage everybody in the community. You're all welcome to come along. If you live in the 9th District or the 10th District or the 15th District, come along and enjoy a movie and a pool party tonight in South Los Angeles.
Mr. Buscaino, do you have an announcement?
I do. I think we lost Chad, your chief of staff, Mike, and had a great send-off. I have one today with deep regrets. We are losing CD 15's legislative analyst, deputy rather, Laura Hill. Laura, step right up. She is, and wants nothing to do with this, but because she's so humbled. Laura started with us on September 26, 2016. She is described by the CD15 family as relentless, thoughtful, and fierce. She has been on this floor with me since 2016, moving on, improving the quality of life of the CD15 residents throughout the city of Los Angeles. If you recall, Laura, get in. Oh, you're in. Get closer. Get closer. Thanks, Mike. There you go. She helped improve the city's transitional job opportunities program, developing policy to incentivize through the city's procurement process the hiring of those with high barriers to employment, including persons experiencing homelessness, substance abuse disorders, individuals with criminal records and a history of incarceration, and at-risk youth. She also was a driving force behind developing the city's first policy to combat street harassment and improve safety for women on transit systems and in public spaces. Laura was also a vital contributor to the CD15's effort to respond to the homelessness crisis with a sense of urgency and level of magnitude necessary, establishing a navigation center, multiple bridge home shelters, tiny home villages, safe parking lots, Project Room Key, Project Home Key locations. And today I just submitted a final motion she worked on that Mr. Lee signed on to, making entry fees to the LA Zoo more affordable to low-income families. Laura, we love you. We are going to miss you. Thank you so much on behalf of CD15 and the City of Los Angeles for your dedication, your contribution, and your love to our city. We love you, and we are going to miss you. Laura is one of, I anticipate, a number of folks who, as we land this plane come December, we'll move on to bigger and better things as we give you wings. Fly, girl, fly. You're going to do great things in life. So this is on behalf of the city of, Los Angeles. This absolutely sucks.
Laura, congratulations. I wish you the best. You've been a delight to work with. By the way, where are you going, Laura?
She's going to San Francisco.
Oh, San Francisco. Congratulations.
All right, Brandon here? Yes, it's over.
We're still in announcements, Ms. Rahman, followed by Mr. Blumenfield.
Thank you so much. And Laura, I just wanted to say thank you for all your support on the procurement work. I know my staff really enjoyed working with you, and they're going to really miss you. So, yeah, congratulations. I just have two quick announcements today. First, something bittersweet as well. Today, my office says goodbye to our outstanding summer communications intern, Morelli Becerra. Morelli has been an invaluable asset to our team this summer. She did design, she did writing, she did research, an incredible perspective that helped elevate and personalize all of our communications. And she was so kind and collaborative. It was a pleasure to have her, and I'm wishing her the best as she heads back to Washington, D.C. for her second year of her public policy graduate program with Carnegie Mellon. I hope she comes back to LA. She's from the Valley, she's born and raised, and we're hoping she comes back to give her skills back to the city again. So thank you, all the best from our whole team, Morelli. And I just wanted to also share that the Board of Recreation and Parks Commissioners yesterday voted to permanently extend our pilot program, closing a portion of Griffith Park Drive to cut through traffic. Basically, all of you, I'm sure, have taken this when you've been trying to avoid traffic when you're switching from the 134 to the 5. You can't do that anymore. Well, yeah, but that's good because it means that people who are using the park for what it's intended, which is cycling, walking, riding on horseback, and more, can use it more safely. And it's an exciting moment. We have an incredible partnership with Assemblymember Laura Friedman, who will no longer be representing Griffith Park, but before she left, managed to bring a huge amount of money from the state to continue to fund safety improvements in the park. And I really wanted to thank the Department of Recreation and Parks, who worked overtime to make this closure a reality. And they're pumped about the next steps in the work, and I really, really appreciate their partnership in this. We're having a little community celebration at Travel Town today. From 4 to 7, we'll have food trucks, we'll have some speechifying, we'll have a kids' bicycle, a Skillshare, and people can go to Travel Town and ride on the trains for free. So I hope you guys can join us there. And I just really wanted to say, you know, we had been thinking about doing this work for a long time, not that long since I haven't been here that long, but since I've been elected, we've been thinking about what we can do in Griffith Park. But this work was accelerated by the untimely passing of Andrew Gelmert, who was actually there practicing for the AIDS Life Cycle Ride, which he did every year, and was struck and killed by a driver driving at incredible speeds, something we've seen happen over and over the past few weeks. So I just wanted to honor Andrew's memory and to welcome everyone to Griffith Park today for a first step of many in making the park safer for all. Thank you.
Mr. Blumenfield? Mr. Blumenfield?
Yes, thank you. Colleagues, Cameron, come over here. I have to announce one of my staff members is leaving today. This is his last day, last council day. He'll be with us through Monday, and we're going to do a little hoopla for you in the office. But so I want to announce that it's Cameron Gill's last day. He's my legislative deputy. He has been with the team since 2018, and now he's going to go off and work for the LA Chamber. So we wish him the best for that. So he started with the office in 2018. He served the 3rd District even before then, worked as a member of the Woodland Hills Warner Center Neighborhood Council. So he had a small glimpse into what government was like, and then realized how insane that aspect was as he came into this insane aspect and realized how insane this is. And he's done every aspect of the job in many respects. He both in doing the floor work here, but constituent work, letter writing, district work, and even carpooling with me back and forth because he lives in Woodland Hills near where I do. Over the course of his career with the city, Cameron has led also the International Sister City Delegation trips and strengthened the cross-cultural development between the city of Nagoya, Japan, and Los Angeles. He was the perfect ambassador. He not only spoke Japanese, but also he's published a sci-fi anime-inspired novel evoking Buddhist history and Japanese literature, the things you don't know about folks here. He's also published in a peer-reviewed political science journal researching the political parties of France and their election changes, which of course really helped him in his day-to-day work here. But he is a man of many talents and interests. We can say Cameron carries the title of International Man of Mystery in our office, not only because of his foreign policy work, but also because he sometimes shows up to the office with random cuts and bruises earned over one of his boxing sessions or hockey game or from parkour, or maybe he's part of some fight club group that we don't know about, but he's always doing that. He's the ultimate utility player in the office, dependable, smart, great driver, among other things. And Cameron, I wish you well as you pursue your goals, continue your career, and all of us here just wish you great success. Thank you for all that you've done.
Members, are there any other announcements before we move on to adjourning motions? Can we all rise for adjourning motions? And I would start with Mr. De Leon for an adjourning motion.
Thank you very much, Madam President. And just before I do this adjournment, Mary, Ms. Rahman, wonderful news. It's a really big deal, and congratulations. It's wonderful for not just your district, but for all of Los Angeles. Madam President, as well as colleagues, it's with great sadness that I ask that we all collectively adjourn in the memory of Henry Huerta. Henry Perez Huerta passed away on Thursday, July 28th of this year, after a sudden battle with aggressive cancer. He passed away in the arms of his loving wife, along with his son and daughter and his sister. He was a very young, 68 years of age, and as you can see on the screen, he looked fantastic. Henry was born on July 7th in 1954 up north in King City, California, to Juan and Angelita Huerta. His calling to serve the greater good started at a very young age. And growing up, he experienced the challenges of racial discrimination, even from his own public school teachers. His calling to serve, again, started at a very young age. As a child of the farm worker movement, Henry recognized the amount of injustice in the world. His father, Juan, organized farm workers in the Salinas Valley, and he joined his dad in the cause. When he was 16, his father organized a massive rally in Gonzales, California, where Cesar Chavez painted the farm worker movement as a fight for racial justice. From that moment, Henry was inspired to live a life where he fought for workers. He would go on to lead efforts to register farm workers to vote, and he became the youngest deputy registrar in the state of California. In his final months of his life, Henry continued to register voters, volunteer countless hours to contact voters, and mentor many young political activists. Henry attended the University of Oregon, where he received a bachelor's degree in political science, and was one of very few Mexican Americans on campus. A low-income student, obviously, Henry could not afford to travel back home to California. So during the breaks, he spent many holidays alone on the campus by himself, working as a janitor. He made the university soccer team, where he played defender, and decades later, he became a popular youth soccer coach who was known for being highly protective of his kids on his team. After college, he landed at the State of California Department of Industrial Relations, where he worked there for 31 years across the state of California. Henry served as a senior deputy labor commissioner in San Francisco, where he supervised countless sweeps of sweatshops, agriculture companies, car washes, construction sites to investigate workplace conditions and interview workers for potential wage theft violations. Throughout his career, he empowered workers, such as in 2009 when he worked as a campaign manager for the AFL-CIO's Clean Car Wash campaign, los entre comillas car washeros, where he oversaw efforts to unionize car wash workers in Los Angeles. For all of his great work, it was his meeting, Marta Ann Gonzalez, in 1994, that marks the best part of Henry's life. He and Marta fell in love not only quickly, but deeply, and soon wed and raised their children, Enrique and Zenaida, in their home in Whittier, right here in LA County. Henry Huerta was an incredible father, husband, and advocate for hardworking women and men. He left us all too soon. He is survived by his family, who adored him. Madam President, as well as colleagues, may he rest in power, may he rest in peace, as well as in solidarity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. De Leon. Mr. Harris Dawson?
Thank you so much, Madam Chair and members. Today I ask that we adjourn in the memory of Ms. Terrell Watkins. Ms. Watkins is one of those black women who spend their life holding up the sky on behalf of our community. Ms. Watkins was a part from the very beginning of one of the most important organizations in the city, the Watts Labor Community Action Committee. There in the heart of Watts. As the daughter of the founder, Ted Watkins, she was a volunteer at high school age on day one and stayed involved in the organization until she became, in 1995, the elected leader of the organization, taking over the mantle of this organization. She committed her life to the WLCAC, but also to the people of Watts. Participating in almost every important community initiative, whether it was the development of the Blue Line or the establishment of an endowment for the WLCAC, or the committee to help get Southwest College built and accredited, also serving as a board member and an advisor to the University of Southern California, the Community Development Bank, the Los Angeles Empowerment Zone Oversight Committee, the Locke High School Visual and Performing Arts Technology Advisory Committee, the Jordan Locke High School Adult School Advisory Board, and the Watts Economic Development Advisory Committee. One of those people that every time something is important happening, she's on the short list of who gets called to do the important work and to make sure we look out for the family. Anybody who knows South LA knows that the Watkins family is one of the central families, a fixture in our community, as Mr. Buscaino said, and Ms. Watkins is the aunt of my Deputy Chief of Staff, Rachel Brazier, who's with us this morning. This is a huge loss, but also a celebration of the best of what we can be. And again, today we ask that we adjourn as one of our most luminous angels in the city of angels has taken her final flight. May she rest in power. Yes, please.
There's been a request for Mr. Buscaino to be added to adjourning motion, and as well as Mr. Curran Price. Mr. De Leon, you have another adjourning motion?
Yes, Madam President, colleagues, just one last final one. For me, it's with a heavy heart that I ask that we adjourn in the memory of Gary Tobin. A lot of folks know Gary Tobin and had their own personal relationships with Gary Tobin, who served as CEO of the LA Chamber of Commerce from 2006 to 2018. He was 74 years of age. Sadly, Gary was diagnosed with stage 4 bladder and bone cancer in the summer of 2020, just 2 years ago. While they gave him 6 months to live, Gary remained a fighter and battled for 2 years and 2 months. If you know Gary, you know that he was a gentleman, a man who epitomized the meaning of kindness, intelligence, and compassion. A native of Nebraska, Gary was named to the head of the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce back in 1999. While leading the organization, he helped to lead Northern Kentucky's growth, working to bring state funds into the region for major projects. In 2006, Gary departed, and that's a huge departure, not just geographically, but culturally, from Northern Kentucky to California, and not just California, but to Los Angeles, California, where he actually took over the LA Chamber of Commerce, and he served there for 12 years. He oversaw the intricate workings of the chamber, ensuring that the organization championed initiatives that would improve economic prosperity and quality of life, not just for businesses, but for all Angelinos. He served on numerous task forces, including the Mayor's LA Economy and Jobs Committee, the LA County Healthcare Options Task Force, and the City Council's Business Retention and Attraction Task Force. Gary also led local and state ballot initiatives on transportation and economic development, and co-led the region's largest advocacy trip to Washington, D.C. An avid hiker, he climbed 24 peaks with an elevation of 14,000 feet or higher. He is survived by his wife of over 3 decades, 32 years, with whom he shared 4 children and 8 grandchildren. There will be a memorial service planned for him, not here in LA, but on September 8th at Plymouth Congregational Church in Lawrence, Kansas. And finally, Madam President, as well as colleagues, and for those who knew Gary Tobin, and there was a lot of folks who had their own personal relationships with him, it didn't make a difference if you were on the left or on the right or in between. He was always a gentleman. He was very kind. He was compassionate. He was unassuming. Probably not the biggest, character around, but he was always unassuming. And it didn't make a difference if you were on the left, the far left, or even the far right. He just treated everyone with deep respect. And that was the elegance of someone like Gary Tobin. So I know that he will be missed sorely. He had an impact on the city of LA when it came to economic affairs. So may we all endure in his memory, Madam President.
Thank you very much, Mr. De Leon. This is beautifully said. I'd like to make this an all-council adjournment. Thank you. Any other adjourning motions, members? Seeing no others, our meeting is adjourned.